So Trump just destroyed my business, my small business.
Heard from one woman who even said that the same basket of groceries that she regularly buys has now effectively doubled. Take a listen.
I feel like the prices are ridiculous now. It's to the point where it's going to be harder for people to shop because the prices are just insane. Literally, yes, because last week I like literally for the same amount of stuff that I bought, I literally paid like maybe 30-40 bucks, and now it's like $75 for like 3 bags of groceries. It's like completely insane.
Trump's tariffs just triggered a global market crash. But the real story is the world's reaction and what it says about America's place on the world stage. Canada is already stepping into the void. Mark Carney, the new Canadian Prime Minister, has said that if America won't step up to lead, Canada will. That is not a subtle message. Europe isn't waiting around for more favorable policy either. They are refusing to play ball with Trump's trade war. And what's more, Germany's considering pulling its strategic gold reserves out of where they're stored in New York. Why? Because US leadership is no longer seen as trustworthy. And China has retaliated, hitting US goods with a 34% tariff, which is gonna affect farmers, oil, autos, semiconductors, the entire MAGA industrial complex. Trump's answer? He went online to say that China panicked, which is crazy given that China's now setting the pace, having global meetings with Europe, not us. But here's what should really scare you. Russia is facing 0 tariffs under Trump's new plan. There are other sanctioned countries who got tariffs. Iran got hit with a 10% tariff, but our trade with Russia was 1 million more than our trade with Iran in 2024. At best, this is incompetence. At worst, something way darker. Because Trump actually posted a video saying he's crashing the economy on purpose, allegedly to lower oil prices, like it's some kind of genius 4D chess move to crash our entire economy. But the result is clear. The US is losing international power. Our allies are cutting ties and global markets are in freefall. And so we are left with 3 possible explanations. 1, Trump is genuinely this dumb. 2, he's working in the interests of foreign powers, probably Russia. Or 3, this is a coordinated fascist power grab, where oligarchs crash the economy on purpose, because even if their portfolios take a hit, they know that everyone else will be so much worse off that they'll be able to seize power without resistance. And honestly, it could be all 3. Because this doesn't look like policy. It looks like sabotage. Follow No Dumb Left Behind for more updates.
Trump announced his massive tax plan on items coming from other countries. He says that the countries are going to pay that. That's false. It's the person bringing it in. And I own a small business. I've been in operation since 2018. I've been incredibly successful, basically doubling my business every single year. And it's not a product that can be made here in the United States. But I've had a lot of people say, well, what about the tariffs before? Yeah, I didn't have any. That was 0% tariffs for me, 0% tax. He added 10% in February, then he added another 10% in March, and then yesterday he just announced an additional 34% on top of that. So for all products coming in from China, that is now 54%. So most retail goods, stores, products, there's about a 30 to 40% profit margin, okay? Profit margin. That profit margin, a lot of the times, that's not even a living wage, okay? But that 30 to 40% is how the people that own that business are able to live. And then there's still other expenses on top of that. 54% tax is more than the profit that most retailers or business owners would make. Well, a 54% tax. And I'm just paying that money straight to Trump.
Y'all, they still think that these tariffs are going to eliminate taxes on Americans.
President Trump is trying to use these tariffs to get rid of taxes.
Come here. Recent events suggest otherwise, Mama. You think he's going to get rid of taxes? Tariffs are a tax. They're a regressive tax. Your dude just wiped out $5 trillion in the stock market in 2 days. Dow dropped 2,200 points in 1 day. I wonder what Trump would have to say to that. His own words. Hey, and now China has clapped back with a 34% tariff on the United States. So now we're just in a full-blown trade war. The way these people just move the goalpost consistently every single time. Like, they're very good at it. This is not what you voted for. And if you say it is, you're either being intellectually dishonest or you're a moron. How, pray tell, is this helping anyone?
I think even the most MAGA influencers are starting to realize that we as a society under these new Trump policies are collectively cooked. And yes, that means them as well. The number one indicator of the health of the economy in the United States has always been the U.S. stock market. And while MAGA influencers will tell you that 98% of the stock market is owned by just 1% of the most elite people, that is in fact not true. 58% of Americans own stock, and everyone who has a 401k or retirement benefit or relies on interest compounding from the way that they use their savings accounts in the banks is invested in the stock market. In addition to that, when the stock market tumbles, hiring freezes, wages freeze. There are implications that happen to everyday Americans, even if they've never owned a stock in their life. I already hear some of you now saying, I don't use a for-profit bank. I use a credit union, and they don't invest in the stock market like the for-profit banks are. So I'm safe. Well, then you should worry about the Republican Senate and Congress attempting to add taxes to credit unions to make them less appealing to work with. Try and force funnel you towards having to use one of these for-profit big banks. And tomorrow morning, we are expecting what's called like a Black Monday, which is a massive stock market crash, okay? It's already trending down 1,500 points, and before the market even opens tomorrow, it's expected to have lost $5.4 trillion in value. And yet, President Trump and a lot of his buddies are down Mar-a-Lago golfing with the Saudis. How could he be so calm when things are going so poorly? Well,
find that I do better in bad markets. I buy things in bad markets. And you can't do that in a great economy. You can't buy it. Either you're going to buy it very expensively or not be able to buy it at all. So there's a lot of opportunity, I find, in the bad times.
And the tariffs, of course, are not just affecting the stock market. They will also have a fairly immediate impact on the cost of medication, because many of the medications that Americans take are generic, which means that they are produced elsewhere and then shipped here. And as much as I would love to be on name brand only medication, that is just not something that I or many other people can afford. And that is not something that the Trump administration has put money into to make it more affordable for us to have American-made brand name medications. So the tariff is going in without any money being invested into the infrastructure that would make American-made products more affordable. And that doesn't just go for medicine, that goes for everything. But even the most MAGA are running out of ways to move the goalposts and gaslight and smile and explain away all of these horrific policies. I mean, right now they're on, oh my gosh, Ford is doing employee pricing for everyone because they support President Trump's tariffs. Just like Toyota-thon or any of the Memorial Day, President's Day, or Christmas Day sales events for car dealerships, saying we are offering employee pricing on all vehicles is a very common sales tactic. That is not a special deal they are doing because they support Trump's tariffs. That's a hell of a leap.
Many of us here in the U.S. are waking up this morning to our investments and stocks plummeting. I know I made the mistake of checking my account. Trump's tariffs have had a huge, huge impact on the economy and will continue to do so. You know, it's a bad sign when his former vice president, Mike Pence, is speaking out directly against these tariffs and warning that the average American will be losing $3,500 this year as a result of the tariffs. Do you know how many people voted for this administration without even understanding what a tariff is? But do you know who did explain it and did warn over and over? Kamala Harris. She spoke out directly against what is happening now. And yet, here we are.
What is this made in America bullshit? The stock market lost $2.8 trillion in value today. We don't have car factories on every street corner. Nobody knows how to use a spindle or a milling machine or anything like that. We don't mine because our economy is advanced. Technology is advanced past the need for these things. You people want everyone to pick up a spindle. You guys want people working sweaty jobs that people don't want to work. You want people working on an auto assembly line earning $12 an hour. That's what you're signing yourselves up for. You guys want child labor back. That's what you're signing yourselves up for. We don't have the people who want to do this, and we don't have the manufacturing capability. It would require severe economic stimulus. Your guy has made it very clear he is not doing anything to stimulate the manufacturing. He's just saying good luck. It would take 5 years, bare minimum. Bare minimum, it would take more than 4 years to get that kind of capacity going in the United States again, and it would require hundreds of billions of dollars in investment. It's not happening. And boy, when these multinational corporations who rely on foreign labor decide to start raising prices because they need to offload the cost of the tariff, guess what all the American-made companies are going to do? They're also going to raise their prices because they see a profit opportunity. Why wouldn't they take it? The profit motive governs all, after all. You not hear yourselves? You don't. None of you do. The 28% of people who don't think prices are going to get raised dramatically from this are going to get a nice funny wake-up call. And they're never going to admit they were wrong. We all just get to suffer now. This is an unprecedented tax increase. You have to pay for all this. Your retirement account is being made worthless. This America First manufacturing stuff is never going to happen again. That's literally regressing. You are asking for higher prices, fewer options, and regression.
I know that you may want to believe that Trump is crashing the stock market as well as the economy, but guess what? He's actually resetting it. And although the elites may be panicking, the middle class might as well get prepared because we are about to experience one of the biggest wealth transfers that we have ever seen before. What Donald Trump is doing is something that none of us have ever seen before. And the reason for that is because this man is creating history. America is about to officially be back on the map as one of the wealthiest countries. We are about to bring manufacturing back to America again. We are about to bring so many jobs back to America again. Do y'all realize what this means? The fact that the American people have been taken advantage of for so long and no one has ever fought for us is absolutely diabolical to me. I know that many people may not agree with what it is that Donald Trump is doing, but all I gotta say is welcome to the Great Reset. America is definitely on its way to being great again. He did his big one with this one, y'all. I don't care what y'all say.
I'm seeing more and more people online saying, well, I voted for Trump, but I didn't vote to lose my job, and I didn't vote for a global trade war, and I didn't vote for Elon Musk to run amok in the government, slashing agencies and cutting jobs, and I didn't vote to see America's allies cast aside. Oh, what the are you talking about? Of course you voted for that. You were perfectly happy to see all that happen as long as it didn't happen to you. And now that the leopard is eating your face, suddenly you've changed your tune. Well, you get no sympathy from me. You voted for that. You wanted that. So you sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. I don't care what happens to you. I just want you to feel the pain that you brought on yourself because that is the only way you can learn.
A 43% increase on iPhones is ridiculous. At this point, I'm just going to keep my 13 Pro Max. Next year, the iPhone Flip is going to come out. Typically, an iPhone is about $799 retail price. This phone is going to be about $2,500. $2,500 for a phone is a ridiculous price. And if you're still here, I encourage you to check on your pension plans, preferably your 401k accounts. Because the stock market has crashed. It is crashing. And while that crashes, so does your 401k account. So your retirement plans are dropping like flies at this point. And then people are also crashing out on here because the Nintendo Switch just announced that it's going to be released. And it's going to be priced higher than previous consoles that they have released. The games are going to be about $90 if you want a hardback copy game. That's how we know things are f***ed up. When Nintendo raises their prices, everything's going to like, let's just admit it. Tariffs are hitting us left and right. Tariffs are across the globe right now. Every country is against the United States because of the tariff increase, because of the tariff taxes. Oh, and with the whole TikTok ban, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't think it's getting banned. I think they're going to announce that it has been sold on Saturday. And that's when we're going to be hit with all the changes. They're already started. But yeah, the United States sucks right now. Like everything sucks right now. Everything.
This trade war is a manufactured crisis by Donald Trump. Tariffs are not beneficial to the working class. They cause an increase in prices and people to lose their jobs. They are beneficial, however, to corporations and billionaires who get to benefit from being able to raise their prices and reduce competition from the global market. The prices of things don't have to go up, but Donald Trump doesn't care. He's making them go up anyway. People don't have to lose their jobs, but Donald Trump doesn't care. He's going to make them lose their jobs anyway. We do not have to have a weakened relationship with our allies, which leaves us vulnerable and at risk, but Donald Trump doesn't care and is weakening the relationship anyway. We do not have to use our hard-earned taxpayer dollars to bail out industries that are going to be negatively impacted by these tariffs, but Donald Trump doesn't care and is going to make us use our tax dollars to bail them out anyway. You thought the cost of housing and groceries was bad before? Wait until you see the bill after these tariffs on lumber and produce. You thought the job market was bad before? Wait until all these people who've lost their jobs because of the tariffs fled the job market. The worst part about all of this is it doesn't have to be like this, but this is what we get for electing a billionaire to be our president.
Manufacturing is never coming back to America. Never. And boomers won't let it go. And you know why manufacturers never coming back to America? Because people and businesses were sold on outsourcing. Remember, outsourcing was supposed to lower the costs for companies so that higher wage jobs and higher skilled jobs could be brought to America. But that didn't really happen. We don't have the infrastructure for manufacturing. You don't build a factory in 30 days. Frankly, you don't even build a factory in a year. And even if we did build the factories that we wanted, you still can't afford to do manufacturing here. Why? Because you don't pay living wages. Your employees wouldn't even be able to make enough money to live off of working for you. So it's not even plausible. And even if you did want to pay them more than the bare minimum, your customers couldn't buy what you could produce because it would be too expensive. Manufacturing in America, for the most part, is done. We do assembly. We get the parts and the pieces from all these different places and we put it together and we sell it. But this whole concept of we're going to manufacture these things and compete with countries like China, India, yeah, good luck with that. That's never going to happen.
Oh, what was that? That boomers' entire retirement just went down the drain because of the crash yesterday? Well, maybe now they need to handle their finances a little bit better. Maybe they need to stop buying those $5 lattes that they treat themselves to once in a while, because that's the issue, right? It's a mismanagement of finances. It's not external forces that sometimes you can't control. Not the fact that it's pure market manipulation at play. It has nothing to do with that, right? It's all personal accountability and all your own choices that you made. So I guess you lost all of your retirement savings, so no more coffees for you.